Whenever I fell and hit my head as a child, my mum used to say to me, "That'll knock some sense into you." I'm not entirely convinced that she's got that right. And when it comes to motorcycling, if I was unfortunate enough to fall off the bike, I'd probably prefer not to spread my cranium across the tarmac. Anyway, welcome to CG Rides, and today you find me out testing my new helmet, which is an Arai Tour X-4. Hope I got that right. And in sheer beauty, look at this. I took it into the video studio to get some B-roll. And what I'm going to do in today's video is just take you through the features of this helmet. I'm going to let you know my thoughts on it. And also I'm going to show you how I've rigged it up for my moto vlogging setup with my GoPro camera. And hopefully that will be useful to you even if you're not buying an Arai Tour X-4, because the principles apply whatever helmet you choose to buy. Well, it's a beautiful sunny day for a ride, and I'm going to enjoy some of the lovely countryside. Wow, it's a nice tight bend. Let's take you through the helmet's features. Starting with the chin vent here, you can see that there's a switch, as you'd expect on any helmet really, to open or close the vent. But what makes this helmet a little bit different is on the inside of the chin bar, either side of the chin bar, there are two more controls. And what these do is they redirect the airflow. So you can either have the air from the chin vent coming straight through to your mouth, or you can have it redirected up on the inside of the visor to help keep it clear. Although the visor does come with a pin lock insert, as you'd expect. I've just taken a quick pause here just to enjoy these bends. I do love this little section of road coming up through the woods here. And I'm out on my V85 TT today, Moto Guzzi. This is just a great bike. I've had it for nearly 3 years now, and I will bring a review to the channel on that. Anyway, let's get back to the helmet. On the visor itself, I don't know if you can see this, well you will be able to see it because we've got B-roll. If you have a look, you've got two brow vents, and these have two positions, so you can have them half open or fully open. And behind the visor, when it's shut, there are some ducts into the helmet. That's ducts with a T, not the bird that you feed with bread, obviously. And that redirects the air across the top of your brow there, and I've got them open at the moment, and I have to say it's working very nicely. If we go on to the top of the helmet, we've got the usual top vents here. These are just a case of switching them on and off. And then at the back, I assume these are for exhausting the air, but there's two settings for each of these using these little arms. So you can have them half open or fully open. And you'll notice the little red bit on the arm, that's a lock. So you can move that lever to fully remove those so that you can clean, basically. As with all Arai helmets, the plastic that's on the outside of the shell, all of those bits are designed to come off. So if you come off your bike, you're sliding down the road, the plastic should break off very easily. That doesn't mean that it'll break off easily in normal use, it's just designed to fail in that particular circumstance. And the reason for that is to stop rotational injuries to your head. Right, here we are at the junction, lots of traffic today, this will be fun. Let's continue showing you around the helmet. There's a really nice feature that I like here at the front, which is a movable chin bar. Thank you very much, sir. Why so much traffic today? It's a Friday today, and it is now a bank holiday weekend because of course, the sad news of the death of Her Majesty the Queen. So Monday is a public holiday now, so perhaps people have taken the day off to make the most of it. Usually get a lot of holiday traffic on this road. I digress. I like this this chin bar. How many times have you been out riding and you just get really cold on the underside of your chin? And I think having this chin bar, I mean, which extends anyway further down than an ordinary helmet, having this sort of movable spoiler, I think that will help keep you a little bit warmer. Remains to be seen. Now, obviously this is an adventure style helmet, and this is a bit of a new thing for me. I've not had an adventure helmet before. I think it goes really well with the bike I'm riding. I'll probably look like a bit of a tool if I wear it on my V7 850. Nonetheless, I will if I'm doing some filming, because this is now my filming helmet. And the reason why I went for this one particularly is I've been watching the YouTube channel Itchy Boots, a Dutch lady by the name of Noralie who's riding around the world, and in her most recent adventure she's wearing an Arai Tour, I think it is an X4, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And I thought to myself, well, that's a really nice looking helmet, very versatile, because you can have the visor fully up as you're riding along. Let's do that. I expect you get a load of wind noise now. Put that down. You can also take the visor off completely. You can take this beak off as well. I'm going to call it a beak, one of those things. You can also adjust the angle of the beak, and I think this is quite a useful thing. It serves a couple of purposes. It directs airflow into the top of the helmet, so on a hot day that should help keep you cooler, but it also helps shield you from the sun. And when you get to this time of year, or September now, October, pretty shortly we'll be in a situation where the sun is low in the sky often when you're out riding, and often you're riding towards the sun, and it's a bit of a pain, isn't it? I find myself riding along with my hand like this in front of the helmet, and perhaps the oncoming motorists think I'm giving them some kind of salute. It looks like I'm about to get stuck behind the Krone Big X 1100 combine harvester. Well, that is a beast. Look at that. Look how wide it is. I've noticed tractors just getting bigger and bigger. I know this isn't a tractor, but farm machinery getting bigger and bigger, and it's getting more and more dangerous to travel these little country lanes, especially if you like cycling, which I do like cycling. Haven't been out much recently, but where I live, wherever you go, you've got to go down these tiny lanes. You can come around a corner and just suddenly come face to face with one of these things, and there's nowhere to go. So I think we should just do the decent thing and get straight by. So just coming back to the helmet, I've not had an Arai before. I've got a Shui, is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure. Open face helmet, for which I wear with my V7 when I'm not filming. But my main helmet is an X-Lite, and I've got a few X-Lite / Nolan helmets, so I had a few over the years. I've still got 3 of them. One of them is a carbon race helmet. That's just fantastic, but getting a bit old now for active use. I tend to just use that when I go karting. I've got a Tour helmet, a GT helmet with intercom in, and that's carbon as well. It's really light. I absolutely love those helmets, I really do. They're a perfect fit for my head. And of course, all of the different brands have a different shape to them. Now, I take a large with X-Lite. This is an extra large, but I think that's mainly to get the forward to backward space on this, because it feels a little bit more spacious to the sides, possibly not quite as snug as I'd like. That said, the cheek pads in this helmet, it being an adventure type, sit a little bit lower than in a race helmet or a touring helmet. When you take the helmet off, you know, you can feel that it's tight and secure. It's not going to come off your head, but I think I would like it ever so slightly more snug. But there you go, that's always the problem, isn't it, when you're between sizes. Well, one of the biggest things for me when I'm choosing a helmet is that it's got to be comfortable for my ears. In the genetic lottery of life, I was blessed with larger than average ears, and so some helmets will pinch the ears or hold them too tight to your head, and you end up then in a situation where you're in a lot of pain very quickly in the ride, and that's no good at all. But one thing I am noticing with this helmet is it does have a lot of wind noise, so I'm now speaking louder, and I hope the microphone's working properly today and we get a decent quality of audio. And also this beak thing, if you turn your head to the side, you really do feel the force of the wind. So at higher speeds, it may not be the best kind of helmet. So I'll give you my final thoughts on the helmet in a moment, but I wanted to talk about the rigging up of the helmet for motorcycle vlogging. And this has been a big challenge for me coming into this, even with being relatively experienced. I've done some professional video work, I know my way around a camera. I may not be the most creative individual in the world, but I've actually struggled a little bit finding the right angles for the cameras on the bike and on the helmet, and getting the audio right. That's really tricky. How do you wire up a helmet? It seems absolutely crazy to me that nobody seems to be offering an intercom unit that allows you to just output the audio straight to your camera or an audio recorder. When you've got a helmet like I have with my X-Lite helmet that's fitted up with the professional intercom, the microphone's there already installed in the helmet, why can't I use that microphone? But there doesn't seem to be any possibility to do that. Big gap in the market. So how do you wire up a helmet? Lots of people go with these Lavalier mics, which is the small microphone you see newscasters wearing on their shirts sometimes, and you just tape one of those into your helmet and wire it into an audio recorder or into a camera. Now, previously that's what I've been doing until my cheap purple Panda microphone broke, and they are cheap, £15, £20, somewhere around there. So I bought another one, and I haven't used it because in the meantime I just nicked one of the Rode microphones from our studio, one of the cheaper ones. I think it's maybe about £50. I'm not saying it's necessarily any better than the purple Panda, but that's what I've used anyway. I wanted to tape it into the helmet in an attractive way. I didn't want to have duct tape in my helmet or anything like that, so I'm using this automotive tape, and this is tape that you could buy to stop rattles and squeaks and things in your car. So it's adhesive on one side and it's got a kind of soft flock finish on the other. Really useful stuff. So I'm just going to cut some strips of that, and I'll use that to mount the microphone. And I'm going to mount it inside the chin bar. There's just loads of room, and it should be fine if I just put the foam cover on the top of the microphone. Hopefully we'll get decent audio. You tell me in the comments, I'm sure, if it's any good. Now, how to record that audio? You've got a couple of options there. I do have little portable audio recorders like the Tascam unit. I'll maybe pop one up on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. And you can just have that in your pocket. The only problem with that is, of course, it's another thing you've got to set recording. I've already got 3 cameras going today. And of course you just sync it up in your editing program, which is not that difficult to do at all. All of the main editing suites will offer you some audio sync up of clips. But I'd like to take that step out of the process. It only takes a few minutes, but I'd like to just remove it from the process. So I've gone with the GoPro Hero 10, and it's inside a case called the Media Mod. And what the Media Mod does is gives you this this microphone here that you can see with the foam cover on, which I'm not using. It would be utterly useless for recording anything at the speeds we travel on motorbikes. I think they say up to 20 miles per hour you're okay. But what it does give you is on the back of the Media Mod there's then a 3.5mm jack that you can plug your microphone into. Brilliant. And in typical GoPro fashion, it just works. You plug the mic in and off you go. So that's the solution that I'm going with today. Hopefully it will make the editing process much easier. The other issue that you then have to face is getting the wire from the microphone to the GoPro, because none of these microphone manufacturers seem to make a microphone with a shorter cable that you could extend, but nobody seems to be making one anyway. So they've all got these long cables, so what do you do with that? Well, after taping the microphone into this helmet, I went round the sort of rubber gasket that's at the bottom of the helmet and I just tucked the cable in. So the microphone is actually looping around the helmet. The cable, sorry, is looping around the helmet. And where it comes out, I've just used some small pieces of that automotive tape just to hold it in place. And I think the finished result looks quite neat. you still end up with quite a bit of spare cable, so I've looped that up, and again I've just taped up the loop with the same stuff. I've left enough slack so that you can move the camera around. You need a little bit of slack there. The only problem with it, I suppose, is that when you then want to use the helmet and you're not filming anything, then you've got a microphone cable dangling down, and it's a bit of a faff then to take it out again. Not such a problem for me because I'll just wear a different helmet, I suppose, but otherwise I'll have the GoPro on. Now let's talk about the GoPro itself, because mounting these cameras onto helmets is really quite tricky. There's not always a nice flush place to put the sticky pad on, and sometimes you need to get all sorts of bracketry and other gubbins together to make it work, and it's clunky, it's heavy. I did come up with a solution for this camera with my other helmet, and it is a right old faff. It's a big bunch of bracketry. And what you'll notice with GoPros is they have these long screw things, and I'll probably try and show you one with the B-roll here, but when you've got lots of bits and pieces joined together, they all join together with these long screw things, and that just adds to the overall bulk of the whole arrangement. So let me tell you how I've solved that. First of all, I found a company in Canada called RideTech, and they make helmet-specific GoPro mounting pads. So here we've got one that's specific to this Tour X-4 helmet, and it works really well. It goes into place nicely, easy to stick on, easy to apply. Just concentrate on these tight bends a moment. They sneak up on you to these bends, and there's an especially tight one coming up as well. So I just need to be mindful of that whilst I'm yakking away. Yeah, so I found that to be a really good solution. Again, I've been carefully watching what other people have, and I noticed that Noralie from Itchy Boots, she's got a sort of clamp, and that looks like a sensible solution, but I like this. When you take it off, it's not really that visible, so I don't think it's really spoiling the look of the helmet, so I'm quite happy with that. The other thing that RideTech sell is just little hex bolts that are compatible with the GoPro fitment. So you can use the hex bolts instead of these big long thumb screw things. And that just makes the whole thing look so much neater. So I've got a very small extension on mine just to keep the GoPro close to the chin, but also to bend it backwards. You know, if you have the helmet on a table, then the camera needs to be bent quite far back, because of course when you wear the helmet it's tipped forwards, and that's my setup. Hopefully it's working well. Now also on the bike, facing towards me, I've got my Insta360. This is the Insta360 1RS, and at the moment I've just got the 4K lens on. This is a really neat modular camera, and I also have a 360 lens for it, so that gives me a few possibilities. But you could use another GoPro, or what I've got down to the side today is my old GoPro, which is a Hero 7 Black. Perhaps you can see the footage. I tried to do it at an interesting angle for gear changes and things. Not that I've done much of that today, but hopefully you get the general idea. I mean, just add as many cameras as you want, bearing in mind that each one adds a whole bunch of file storage and more time to edit. So that's the Arai Tour X-4. Now, I bought this one from the lovely boys and girls at Bridge Motorcycles. I went in there for a specific colour finish. Once I decided it was a helmet I wanted, I went on the Arai website and looked at the different finishes. There's quite a few available, and I had in mind a particular one, and I went into Bridge on the off chance they might have what I wanted, which they didn't. They did have some different designs, and they had this particular design but in the large, and when we tried it on, it was just too tight on the forehead, so I ordered the XL. It's taken a little while to come, a few weeks, but I think it was worth waiting for. It looks absolutely fantastic. And what sold it to me was the glitter in the paint. Now, pricing for these helmets does vary. There's you can have a plain one for about £400 in the UK, I think. and they go all the way up. I've seen them over £600 actually for some of the graphics. So it just depends what design you want as to how much you're going to pay for it. I think this one was $570, which is the most I've ever spent on a helmet. So I hope it's going to last me. I'd like to get quite a few years out of it. Hopefully it will help get this YouTube channel going. I'm not new to YouTube, by the way. CG stands for Constant Geekery. That's my main channel. Got over 30,000 subscribers there. But that's for tech. So if you like tech, computers, Apple products, that kind of thing, then check that out. Anyway, coming back to the paint finish. I really like this particular finish I've gone for, and as we all know, paint finishes make a big difference to the performance of your vehicle. Just like the Go Faster stripes on your car, I reckon this particular design has got to be worth at least 5 horsepower, and the glitter, that definitely adds a couple more. So, you know, it's a cheap upgrade for performance. So just my initial thoughts then on this helmet. I have to say the vents are all very good. And the quality of the finish, you do get what you pay for. It's a bit heavier than I'm used to. This one comes in at 1,700 grams, I think. It will feel heavier than that because of the beak and the wind resistance, and also because I've stuck a whacking great camera on the front of it, so that makes a difference too. Obviously it is heavier than my carbon helmets. It's very comfortable. I'm still getting used to it. It's way too early to offer a final opinion. I've only done about 20 miles so far. Obviously the X-Lite, I've found that to be a perfect fit for me, and super comfortable, so comfortable and so light that I don't even notice I'm wearing it. And I think it's unrealistic to expect the same from this helmet with its styling and with the fact that I've modified it with the camera and everything else. But it is a comfortable helmet, that's for sure. I like the safety features as well. You've got removable pads either side. Everything is removable and washable, and you can buy replacements and spares quite easily. I would like to get a darker visor though, because there is no internal sunglasses or anything like that, which is why I've broken out the Ray-Bans today. I have to say though, if you are a glasses wearer, incredibly comfortable. I haven't even noticed them. So you can wear a pair of glasses with this helmet, no problem at all. You'll notice Norley on her channel, she's wearing goggles with hers. So she quite often has the visor up and wears goggles, so that's also possible. You can remove the peak as well if you want to. You can remove the visor if you want to. It's very flexible. And it's, you know, typical Arai quality, I guess. I've always been told that they're absolutely fantastic, and having now tried one, I can see why people say that. I hope that was useful to you anyway if you're shopping around for one of these helmets, or if you're just particularly interested in how to get a result with your vlogging kit on your motorcycle, and if you're starting out on YouTube, I wish you all the best with that. Let me know if you've got a new channel going. I'll come and subscribe and watch your content. I think we should all support each other. I have found with my other channel, you know, getting up to over 30,000 subs is actually really hard. Tech is actually a bit of a niche. I think it will be a lot easier with motorcycling. I do it because I just love the creativity. I'm happy to spend my money on making the videos, because I certainly don't earn as much as I spend making them, and I don't earn anything at all yet on this particular channel. So got to get to 1,000 subs before YouTube will start paying me any money. So yeah, all subscriptions gratefully appreciated. I'm going to go and enjoy this beautiful sunshine, and I'll see you again next time. CG Rides.